The Ford Super Duty is America's workhorse, the best-selling truck in America, and we've got a 2020 Ford F-250 here for review. Now, these trucks were originally intended for work purposes, to haul big amounts of stuff. Now, they can still do that, but we've noticed that these trucks are starting to get more livable, more luxurious, which is why Ford has sent us a Lariat trim level to test out. We've got the all-new 2020 model, which has some new engines under the hood, including the one we're testing. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, I mentioned that this is a Lariat trim. That's where the F-250 starts to get luxurious, as we'll see inside. But we've got what's called the Lariat Sport Package. It's about a $4,000 option. As you can see, we've got this big blacked out grille. Looks really nice with the magnetic gray paint. Likewise, with the 20-inch black wheels, these are optional as part of that appearance package. You also get a ton of other black accents. As you can see here, F-250 Lariat is in there in black as well. We've got our running boards, which are great on a vehicle this big. Ford still does the key button here. If you leave your key in the vehicle, you can lock it and set a code to unlock it. I really still love that feature. We've got the 6-foot bed. It's actually just over 6 feet, but you can also get an 8-foot bed as well. And as you can see, ours is a 4x4 model. So if you're ever going to do any off-roading, that might come in handy. Now, coming around to the tailgate here, it's dampened, so you just push a button. You can do that on the key fob as well. And we also have the optional bed step here. Just drop that, pull this little guy out, and then you just step up, use that as a handle. And it really does help when you're trying to get into a vehicle that's this large and has this much payload capacity. Now that we've checked out the exterior, let's go see how nice this truck has become on the inside. All right, so now that we've thoroughly walked around the exterior of this truck, let's go ahead and check out the interior, where since we have a Lariat trim, it's not the highest trim level that you can get on these Super Duties, but it is where the truck starts to get a little luxurious feeling. We do have a leather wrapped steering wheel. We've got these wood appliques, that's a fancy way of saying a sticker on the doors here, just adding a little touch of elegance here. The seats are very comfortable. They're, you know, hard leather, but you know, you kind of want that on a truck. You want it to be durable. We've got our big column mounted shifter here. Truck fans are going to love that. Very simple gauges, you know, big dials with a big speedometer, but we do have a very nice handy screen here in the center console that's going to show us all sorts of information, fuel economy, our towing information. That's always great. We do have our four-wheel drive controls here because we have a four-wheel drive configured truck, and we have our trailer controls here if you set those up. Since we have a Lariat with some packages here, we've got heated and ventilated seats. That's really nice to have on a long road trip. If you go ahead and get one of the crazy trims like the Limited, you can actually get massage seats, and you can get different leather and a suede headliner. These things can really get pretty decked up, but that does bump up the price quite a lot. We've got tons of storage. We've got storage here on the center console, storage on the door, storage up here with our little Bang & Olufsen speaker grill here. We've got some storage under here with a wireless charger. We also have USB and USB-C in there. You've got some nice storage here with 2 cup holders next to it. And you might be saying, well, what if I need even more drink? Well, Ford has cleverly had this little slider, so you just slide this here to the left, and now you have 4 cup holders with an incredible amount of storage underneath here. This is just absolutely vast. So you can put a lot of stuff in here. We also have 2 glove boxes. We have one upper and then our normal lower one over here. So tons of places to put stuff. Lots of headroom as well, even with our optional $1,000 panoramic roof. And if I toss it into reverse, we have our advanced camera system with trajectory lines. It's also going to show you where your tow hitch is going to hit. That is very handy when you're trying to position a truck that's this large. And part of the reason why it's so large is that we have the crew cab, which has the big back seat. So let's go ahead and check that out. Now, if you need to haul all of your crew, you're gonna wanna get the crew cab. It has huge amounts of space back here, just under 44 inches of legroom. I've also got plenty of chargers here. I've got my normal car outlet. I've got USBs and USB-Cs back here and a 110 outlet. So that's great. I love having the panoramic roof. It's about a $1,000 option, but it does make it feel a lot more airy in here. And there's also some very clever storage innovations here. If I go ahead and lift up these seats, you can see there's a flat load floor here, but if I open up both seats and then I pull this up, as you can see, we have this little underfloor storage here. So now this is lockable. You can go ahead and put the seats back down and turn it with a key so you can keep your valuables in there as well. And before we set off, let's go ahead and check out some of the towing features that Ford has included here on the Super Duty. We've actually got a checklist for our trailer. So I'm gonna click conventional. We're towing a conventional trailer. So it says ball coupler connected and locked. Press OK to confirm. Electrical wiring connected. I do have to note that this truck doesn't have the conventional 4-pin wireless. So we had to purchase an adapter for 12 bucks. That was a little bit annoying. Lights functioning correctly. We did that from the outside. We did make sure that all of those work. Safety chains, yes. Tongue jacked raised, yes. Mirrors adjusted, that's pretty cool. You can push a little button here and it will automatically slide these mirrors out. That's really cool. So yes, I did adjust that. Gain sensitivity, we'll see if I need to use the trailer brake while I'm driving along. And that's pretty much it. That's our checklist gone through. So now let's go ahead and get it out on the road. All right, so now we're out on the road in the Ford F-250 Super Duty, and we wanted to make this video just a little bit more interesting for you because driving around this truck, freewheeling would have just been, you know, disingenuous, because a lot of people who are going to buy a Super Duty over, say, an F-150 or a similar full-size truck is really going to want to do some towing with it, do some serious work. And helping us do this serious work that we're doing, towing a car in the back, is the new engine for 2020. It's a 7.3 liter, yes, you heard that correctly, 7.3 liters V8 engine, produces 430 horsepower and 475, the more important number, foot-pounds of torque. Those are both best-in-class numbers for a gasoline engine in the full-size truck segment. This is such a beast of an engine. It's actually the second largest displacement engine you can buy right now, next to only the Bugatti Chiron. It's 8-liter W16 engine. It's so massive, in fact, that Ford lovingly calls it the Godzilla motor. And it pulls quite a bit. The towing capacity of this one, as we have it set up, is 14,700 pounds. So this little Audi that we've got behind it with its little 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine isn't really going to stress this drivetrain out too much. We've got a 10-speed automatic that I have put into its tow haul mode. Makes it super easy. I barely feel like there is a trailer behind us. We're doing just normal speeds to keep up with traffic, and it doesn't seem like anybody is really up our butts trying to tell us to go faster. So just very easy. The steering doesn't really feel all that much worse while towing either. The suspension is a little bit stiff, even compared to other heavy-duty trucks like this. It's definitely a lot more firm and truck-like than what you're going to see in the full-size segment. But when you're under load, it is a little bit smoother. So I will note that while you're towing, the ride is going to smoothen out a bit. Now, this 7.3 liter engine is optional. It's a $2,045 option over the base 6.2 liter V8, which has about 385 horsepower. I think it's worth the money. Love this engine. It sounds fantastic. Let's go ahead and get on it a little bit. Oh yeah, it makes a great noise. Transmission, you can go ahead and shift it up a couple of gears if it won't do that by itself. I just got to slow it down just a little bit, and it should eventually go up a gear. All right. We've also got the adaptive steering here for $1,000. What that's going to do is it's going to change your steering ratios. So when you are running a little bit slower in like a parking lot, it's going to change the ratios so you don't need as many turns lock to lock. I really like that feature for about $1,000. But if you really want the ultimate capability out of one of these trucks, you're going to have to go for the Power Stroke diesel. It's a 6.7 liter turbo diesel that now produces 475 horsepower and get this, 1,050 pound-feet of torque. It's an absolute monster. I have driven that on a separate occasion when I got to drive all of these trucks at a launch event, and I do heavily prefer the diesel. I think it's such an amazing engine, but if you don't need all of that extra towing capacity, this 7.3 liter engine is great as well. Costs a whole lot less too, because that diesel is a over $10,000 option. So $2,000 for the Godzilla isn't too bad at all. And you know, this little Audi behind us isn't really pushing it too hard. Obviously we could tow a whole lot more, but we thought it would be nice to just show a little bit of a towing test. And if you are going to do some heavy duty things with this Super Duty, it will do them just fine. So that was the 2020 Ford F-250 Super Duty. Now the EPA does not rate fuel economy on these things. They're just too big for that, but we managed to get about 10 mpg during our week of testing. That number went down to about 8 or 9 during our tow test. Now you can get one of these starting at about $34,000. That's for the little shorty cab with not much in it. If you want a Lariat crew cab, as you see it here, that's about $46,000. But the one we have is pretty nicely optioned. You know, we have the crew cab and all of the other options on it with the 7.3 liter V8. You're looking at about $68,000. Now, this might not be the way you would configure your Super Duty, but fortunately Ford offers a million options to get it exactly how you want it. There are trims that are more luxurious than this. There are trims that are less luxurious. And for all that flexibility and the amount of capability that Ford has tossed into these trucks, it still earns a CarBuzz score of must buy. It's still one of the best trucks you can get in the heavy duty segment. I hope you've enjoyed this video. See you next time.